Seath Tyler Jackson, born on February 3, 1996, in Bellevue, Florida, was a typical teenager who grew up with his two older brothers in Summerfield, Marion County. He attended Bellevue High School and aspired to become a UFC fighter. Seath Jackson dated 15-year-old Amber Wright for about 3 months, but their relationship ended bitterly in March 2011 when Seath Jackson suspected Amber Wright of cheating on him with 18-year-old Michael Bargo. The breakup was fueled by drug use and attempts to make each other jealous, creating a toxic environment. Shortly after their breakup, Amber Wright began seeing Michael Bargo. In a classic teenage drama, Seath Jackson and Amber Wright took their arguments to social media, specifically Facebook, where they engaged in a tit-for-tat battle as reported by news outlets. Michael Bargo, on the other hand, harbored intense animosity towards Seath Jackson, mistakenly thinking he had mistreated his now-girlfriend Amber Wright. In April, Seath Jackson's mother overheard Michael Bargo threatening her son at their residence, saying, "I have a bullet with your name on it." Michael Bargo had a history of theft and appeared to have been heavily influenced by gangster rap music, openly carrying a firearm. However, his adolescent posturing would soon lead to tragic consequences. Escalating tensions between Seath Jackson and Michael Bargo. In early April, tensions erupted when Michael Bargo and his accomplice Kyle Hooper challenged Seath Jackson and his friend to a fight at the residence of Charlie Ely. As Seath Jackson approached the property, a gunshot rang out, prompting him and his companion to flee. Michael Bargo, who had concealed a .22 caliber revolver in Charlie Ely's home, had fired the shot to scare them off. On April 17, 2011, Michael Bargo confided in Kyle Hooper his intent to eliminate Seath Jackson. Kyle Hooper, harboring resentment over alleged threats from Seath Jackson to burn his house, joined Michael Bargo's sinister plot. Together with 4 other accomplices, Kyle Hooper, who was also Amber Wright's half-brother, Justin Soto, also known as Roach, and Charlie Ely, they devised a plan to execute their heinous scheme in the tranquil setting of Central Florida's Bucala countryside. Under Michael Bargo's direction, Amber Wright lured Seath Jackson to Charlie Ely's residence, where they planned to ambush him and have Michael Bargo carry out the shooting. Amber Wright, who frequently spent nights at Charlie Ely's home, where the group was temporarily staying, initiated contact with Seath Jackson that evening via text message. She expressed a desire for reconciliation and requested a meeting, emphasizing the importance of secrecy. Seath Jackson initially suspected a trap, responding, "Amber, if you have me jumped, I'll never speak to you again." However, Amber Wright's reassurances seemed to sway him. "I could never do that to you," she said. "I just want us to be together again." Despite a female friend's cautionary advice, Seath Jackson proceeded to enter the potential ambush site. The tragic demise of Seath Jackson. As Seath Jackson, Amber Wright, and Kyle Hooper entered Charlie Ely's trailer, Seath Jackson's vigilance was compromised by Amber Wright. Kyle Hooper attacked Seath Jackson with a wooden object, while the girls retreated to a bedroom. Michael Bargo then opened fire with his .22 caliber, injuring Seath Jackson. Despite his wounds, Seath Jackson fled outside, but Justin Soto pursued him, tackling him in the yard and repeatedly striking him. Michael Bargo shot Seath Jackson again, and the trio dragged him back into the house, placing him in the bathtub. Michael Bargo continued to assault and verbally abuse Seath Jackson while firing more bullets at him. According to court records, Michael Bargo ultimately killed Seath Jackson with a shot to the face. Michael Bargo and Justin Soto then disposed of Seath Jackson's body by wrapping him in a sleeping bag and burning him in a fire pit. While Michael Bargo and Amber Wright retired for the night, Kyle Hooper remained outside, overseeing the burning body until the early hours. Tragically, Seath Jackson's hopes for intervention from a responsible adult were dashed. James Havens, the ex-boyfriend of Amber Wright's mother, had prior knowledge of the plot. On April 18th, James Havens arrived with cinder blocks and cables. James Havens assisted in cleaning up the evidence, using bleach and shoveling the remains from the fire pit into paint buckets. Michael Bargo then instructed James Havens to drive him and Justin Soto to a remote quarry in Ocala, where they disposed of Seath Jackson's remains in the water-filled depths. Seath Jackson speaks from the ashes. Kyle Hooper's court appearance marked the beginning of the trial for the murder of Seath Jackson. His initial confession to his mother, prompted by a news report of Seath Jackson's disappearance, led to the arrest and charging of the other suspects, as reported by media sources. During their detention, Kyle Hooper, Amber Wright, and Charlie Ely discussed the murder, with Kyle Hooper expressing his belief that Seath Jackson deserved his fate. Michael Bargo, who had fled the scene, confided in his girlfriend's family and a neighbor Abe's role in the crime, providing gruesome details. He also admitted to breaking Seath Jackson's knees to fit his body into a sleeping bag. Michael Bargo was apprehended the following day. While in custody, he confessed to 2 additional witnesses. Armed with search warrants, investigators recovered the murder weapon and ammunition from Charlie Ely's trailer and discovered burnt human remains in a fire pit. At the Ocala quarry, divers discovered a 5-gallon bucket containing a plastic bag floating in the water. Additionally, they retrieved 2 more buckets submerged with cinder blocks. Justice served in Seath Jackson's murder case. Michael Bargo, along with other participants, faced trial as adults for their involvement in the murder of Seath Jackson. Forensic evidence, including DNA analysis and expert testimony, linked the defendants to the crime. DNA from Seath Jackson's blood was found mixed with the defendant's DNA in blood splatters at the scene. Burned remains from a fire pit and quarry were also identified as belonging to Seath Jackson. In June 2012, all defendants except James Havens, who pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact in 2018, were sentenced to life in prison for Seath Jackson's murder. Charlie Ely was released in 2020 after pleading to a lesser charge. Michael Bargo, deemed the instigator of the murder, was sentenced to death. He became Florida's youngest inmate on death row, and in 2021, the Supreme Court upheld his sentence. I'd like to take this time to pay my respects to the victims and all the families that were affected by this heinous act on both sides. You deserved better, and are forever in our prayers. May you rest in peace. Conclusion. Peer pressure is a social phenomenon where individuals feel compelled to conform to the actions, opinions, or behaviors of their peers or social group. It can manifest in various forms, such as verbal persuasion, modeling, or subtle cues. Peer pressure can have both positive and negative effects on individuals, depending on the context and the nature of the influence. Positive peer pressure can encourage individuals to engage in healthy behaviors, such as studying, exercising, or volunteering. It can also foster a sense of belonging and support within a group. On the other hand, negative peer pressure can lead to risky behaviors, such as substance abuse, delinquency, or engaging in unsafe activities. To resist negative peer pressure, it's essential to develop a strong sense of self-awareness and self-esteem, as well as the ability to communicate assertively and stand up for one's beliefs and values. Additionally, seeking out supportive friends and mentors who share similar values can help counteract the influence of negative peer pressure. In summary, peer pressure is a powerful force that can shape our behaviors and attitudes. By understanding its impact and developing strategies to manage it, individuals can make more informed decisions and maintain their personal integrity. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Killer Cliff Notes, and I'll see you in the next one.